right. Good evening, Los Angeles and the World Wide Web. That was Bikini Kill with Rebel Girl.
That's new. We haven't opened the show to that.
Yes, that's a dedication to Elizabeth Warren.
I know you got a thing for her.
Yeah.
She was the original Riot Girl in many ways.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure, Z's.
Yeah, it's too bad. I think they now make her wear at least a skirt on the Senate floor. But
she can't run around in her wife fronts anymore.
I saw the, let me just introduce everybody. And Randy Harkin, Left of Wrong, thanks for joining us. And I'm joined by our guest co-host, Jeffrey Scott Hendrick. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. I'll be pinch hitting for Jim Coughlin today.
Yeah, he was pinch hitting for me last week. And Jim has the night off. He's got like a Zumba class or something. I'm not sure.
I thought he was doing some plastic surgery. But I told him he didn't even need
I heard it. Yeah, I heard it was a. He's getting one of those butt augmentations.
Yeah, no, I heard it was butt implants because he said he said I have to step up my Instagram game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And evidently booty selfies are what's lacking in Jim's portfolio.
Yeah, I need to start keeping up with what the kids are doing.
He wants it to be like a tray that you can just put objects on.
Holy cow.
That's his goal.
Like a Kardashian badonkadonk thing.
Exactly. He calls it his boo tray.
Nice. Well, I like Jim a lot, and I think that would be a good enhancement.
This is good. This you know what, Randy? What's good about this is that you're going to find out whether Jim listens when he's not on the
show. He doesn't. I don't think he does.
They call in. My ass is fine. Quit picking on me. You guys
we might actually get a caller tonight. And then also joining us. Thanks for coming back. This is kind of like a little bit of a anniversary.
A reunion show.
Yeah, that's what I meant. A reunion.
Because my impression, as of right now, Z's, is that Scott is the only person who's ever on the show. He's the only person who's ever here when I'm here.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I just realized that today because I went back and listened, because I've been listening to a lot of the old episodes just to because
and you said, how can we recreate our crappiest one? So
no, not at all. It was magical, and you were brilliant and hilarious. And but I realized when I was going back and listening that it was you and Jeff El Jefe.
That's good. I don't like to meet new people.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's something to be said for consistency.
You guys are change resistant.
Yes.
But hi, I'm Virginia Jones. Super glad to be here.
Virginia Jones, or on Twitter at Badinia Jones.
Badinia Jones.
Did I say that right?
You said it perfect. Nobody could say it any better.
Oh, well, thank you. Except for maybe the 6-year-old that inspired that.
Exactly.
Very nice.
It was my ex-husband, but emotionally he was 6.
Oh.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Now we might get 2 calls.
Well, I feel better because my wife always accuses me of being 14. Yeah, perpetually. I peaked at 14. Yeah.
That's better than Virginia's ex. You got 8 years on that guy.
Totally, yeah. No, I told him several years ago, if you want to stop having your feelings hurt, stop listening to the podcast that I do. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
You got another wife, it's fine. We don't have to talk, I think, ever. I think it's good. Yeah.
And stop putting Crayolas in your rear end.
Yeah, or eating paste. He had a big problem with that. He went to a facility for paste eating for... It just kept being a problem.
Wow. But at least his breath was minty fresh.
Yes. And they said, "You mean glue sniffing?" I'm like, "No, paste eating."
Paste.
Did you eat paste as a kid?
I never did, but what I like to do was I like to get the Elmer's glue and do a thin layer and then try to peel it off on my hands so I would have my own fingerprints, and I thought that was very science.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's what science is.
I was a big
for me.
fan of making monkey boogers. You remember those? They give you free bumper stickers at school, and you would just ease off all the adhesive.
Oh, yeah.
And you get this big sort of snot
I didn't
ball
realize
of
that was just what they were.
The monkey booger. The booger of the monkey.
Science. Did you ever take a piece of notebook paper and crumple it and smooth it out 1,000 times until it became really soft
Yes.
and slightly shrunken? we had nothing to do, where there was no internet.
And
that was Friday night.
You're too young. You're too young to have been.
Come on over. We're going to have a paper crumpling party.
An old hobo told me about sniffing mimeographs once. Jesus. I know.
It's nice to know my life experiences are.
Smells purple, right? It smells like purple.
Boy, that's one smart hobo that you were talking to. Yeah. It does, in fact, smell like purple.
Well, you come across as like an old soul, like old school, because paste eater, kindergarten. I was a paste eater, and but I was born in the 50s. Me and Sting, and yeah,
the rest of the police.
I did eat Play-Doh because it smelled salty, and it smells like it would be delicious, and it's not.
Yeah,
it's not. It's not at all.
No, it tastes like semen, doesn't it? Or maybe
Okay, Jeff is not going to admit to knowing what that tastes like. He wins, and currently you lose.
And I'm busted because I've eaten Play-Doh.
You can make your own Play-Doh, right? So
you can do a hippie Play-Doh. It looks like mashed potatoes. It's garbage.
Right.
This is the kind of hard-hitting political analysis that people tune into this show for.
For sure.
And
I'm sorry. I'm still reeling. We were talking about it before the show. King Abdullah is dead, and he was my last pen pal.
And maybe this would be appropriate. Maybe a moment of silence for King Abdullah. All right, that was good.
It was a good moment.
That was a good moment. You and W, I think, probably. This is probably a sad day for W, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, there are a number of pictures of those two guys holding hands.
That's how they roll.
Yeah.
And it's because they're not afraid to admit they've eaten Play-Doh.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
That's okay. That's where you went with that.
Freer.
I thought you were somewhere else.
They're just freer with their male friendships.
Yeah. Well, that is a sad day.
It is a sad day.
It's a sad day for Saudi Arabia, and who knows?
He doesn't seem. I don't know. I feel like he tried. Saudi Arabia's still got a lot of issues.
Yeah. Didn't they?
He didn't seem like the worst guy.
Aren't they? Recently, aren't they flogging a blogger?
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing some blogger flogging.
1,000 lashes in the public square. 50 a day, I guess, is what he's going to tell.
Right.
50 a day? Or are they going to spread it out?
It's
over a long
time, because if they did 1,000 a day, he would be a dead person.
And even 50 a day, that would be nuts, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
He'd be dead.
Yeah, they did the reports of the first couple days.
You can't really talk about much in Saudi Arabia without upsetting somebody.
Hey, but there are allies, so.
Right. No, we're besties.
Doesn't that kind of make us terrorists too, though?
Easy now.
It's like a game of telephone. Like if you're friends with a terrorist,
right?
Yeah.
I've never been to Saudi Arabia, but I've been to Singapore, where they caned the kid for graffiti.
Right. Yeah.
And
I remember that.
It's a strange feeling. Like on the one hand, it's very, very clean, and there's no crime anywhere. And like I was at the gym, and a guy had like a towel with just like $50, local currency in the towel, because the penalty for stealing it is you get your hand cut off. It's like nobody wants to do, but it's like it's a very and like they don't have the problems with the ladies that Saudi Arabia does, but like just walking around in Singapore, it's a very strange atmosphere, knowing that if I were to chew gum or spit on the sidewalk, like there's a real penalty.
Yeah, corporal punishment.
It feels very much like Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. Just like, hey, it's really super nice, but there's definitely costs associated.
Yeah, I don't know how I would handle that. I don't do good with things like that. Yeah.
It just feels like, what if I just freaked out and did something terrible?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I probably would.
And you probably would.
would.
You probably have.
I would be that kid, that got caned. At least once a week I do something and I say something and then I feel bad about it for a week, and then I usually have to apologize or retract something. And so one of the things recently,
have you already said it this week?
No, well, I need to apologize to just police officers in general, because I have a habit on this show ever since Ferguson and Mike Brown and Eric Garner of just referring all cops and lumping them together as fucking pigs.
Right.
And I saw a video this week, maybe you guys have seen it, the one where the cop kills a guy, and there's multiple cops, and he shoots him, and pretty sure the guy's dead, and you probably guess what color the guy is that he shoots.
It ain't white.
Yeah. but he starts crying. The cop starts crying because it's just like this humanity, which you don't normally associate that with fucking police officers that do that. And so I was like, well, maybe I've been too harsh because
No.
Okay, all right.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care. I don't care if he cries and then apologizes to the family. The guy's still dead. He's still dead for pretty much no good goddamn reason.
Yeah.
Well,
but there was some because normally,
I mean, I know what you're saying though. Is like you can't paint with that broader brush. Like there's still several dozen police officers who have not shot innocent black people.
Right. Yeah.
Up to 2 dozen.
There's a few. The people say there's a few good ones.
Exactly.
And they're not all bad. But I've been waiting for the few good ones to stand up and say something about the bad ones, and that's why
they tend to get fired.
I have.
If you read that, into that stuff, they
fired, ostracized.
For whistleblowing.
Even if they keep you on, your job will become very unpleasant,
untenable. In fact, yeah.
Which is that's because you want your job to be tenable.
Right.
I don't do good with big words, but anyway.
You want to be chalant.
You want work to be fun. Well, it's and I think it is a cultural difference. I think that it's a bigger problem. It's not like we're beyond the ideas of like good guys and bad guys, right? Like policemen are individuals who through training and culture kind of tend to make the same mistakes and get in the same positions over and over again. And I think a lot of it is just like, increased militarization and just feeling like this is the way we get stuff done.
Right.
This is the way we serve and protect. Well, and it has a lot to do with like shooting first and asking questions later.
It's a matter of training. And they're trained to do that.
It's also the selection process, right? Because they're not picking. In fact, I think they intentionally look for people that aren't the brightest or have the highest IQs. Like they look for people like in the middle of the pack.
Well, we don't really want independent thinkers out there because then they won't shoot the right people.
And it happened again Wednesday. Yesterday happened again. Guy had his arms up even in like 6 rounds.
Shot down dead like a dog.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
we're reaching a tipping point, I think, with this kind of behavior.
I think if there's anything good that's happened out of the last couple incidents is that they are public. People are talking about them. If it had happened 20 years ago,
we never would have heard it.
We never would have heard about it. But the Twitter has increased like the democratization of information, and people are reacting. Now, one kind of interesting sidebar, so about a month ago, there was the guy who got shot at Hollywood and Highland, who was an unarmed guy, and the first reports on Twitter were another unarmed black dude. Now, when the reports came out, it was in fact a white dude. But it's interesting how media, homegrown, media tends to try to create the same stories. Oh, here's the story we've been telling.
It happened again.
It happened again. It happened again. In this case, it was one of the costume performers who was fighting with another one. I don't know what happened. It got out of hand. I don't think he deserved to be shot either. But it was interesting that the first night, and there were marches and riots immediately, and it was identified as black dude, which didn't turn out to be the case.
Gotcha.
It just they were assuming a pattern that is well documented at this point.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Turned out to be just a white guy with good rhythm.
It was a fluke.
And his Swiss Army knife, I guess, was the big weapon that he had.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, and then did you guys? I'm sure you did because everybody was tuned into the State of the Union address. Did you guys?
Yes.
Did you guys watch that?
Yes.
It's almost like they treat it like it's a major sporting event, right?
It's a pep rally.
You get the pregame analysis and